guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Ryan, and I'm joined by
Dave.
Ted.
And today we're going to talk about Savage Paladins.
If you want to jump down to the description below, you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get weekly gaming tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Okay, so the doors, the cave doors have been thrown wide open by the cave troll, and now we can have all kinds of paladins we want. We can have goblin paladins, bugbear paladins, orc paladins.
Well, this came as a kind of comment on one of our previous videos from Sean Darby, and he put forth the idea that not a lot of people are using humanoid paladins, cavaliers, if you will,
From the darker or wicked races.
Yeah, riding, wargs and wolves and whatever have you,
riders,
into combat, leading a group of people. And paladins are those champions and those things that are designed to lead. So it's only right to be able to put those kind of things out there, and 5e really opens the door by saying we're just going to get rid of that whole paladin alignment restriction.
Yeah, I think Pathfinder had done away with the stricture of being lawful good as well. Mm-hmm. But I could totally see goblins riding bats, goblin paladins, sort of making strafing attacks with the lances, that kind of cool stuff. Oath of the Ancients paladin totally fits, because just because you worship something that's ancient doesn't necessarily mean it has to be good. It's just my nature god, it wants blood drained into the roots of this tree. That's what I'm all about. So just because it's ancient doesn't have to be it's all touchy-feely. And holy hell, vengeance is all about beating the fuck out of things. So that fits for an orc to want to smash stuff.
So, like, one of the things that you could do is you don't have to go completely 3rd edition style and add, I'm going to add classes to this particular monster. You can add features. So what if...
Well, actually, no, it's even easier, too, is just taking the racial... if you go to the DMG, it gives like a list of here's some racial features,
racial traits, and stat adjustments,
and you can just add that to the knight in the NPC section of the monster manual, which does give like the leadership stuff. One of their abilities is like they offer a bonus to their allies.
They're like paladin light, essentially. Yeah. I mean, you could. There's nothing stopping you from full on creating. Basically, what you could do is create, like the NPC section of the back of the monster manual. You could create like your templated paladin, and then always just modify it based on the race that you want to change, swap in and out for it.
But I would say like having the ability to offer some smites would certainly change, and seeing, like, especially if you have a paladin in the group, and they see the smite coming
mimicking
down,
their abilities, like, like the dark mirror of it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, oddly enough, the priest NPC actually has an ability called Divine Eminence, which essentially is smite.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the priest would be a good just pump up some more armor on them, and then there you go. Basically, makes it paladin.
Or just swipe the class feature. That one feature. Yeah, because I guess as I get older in my GMing, I am less inclined to create monsters and NPCs whole cloth that are going to be around for a combat. It really is a tremendous waste of my time, and my players will not appreciate it.
But the thing that I was talking about with making that like essentially an NPC entry stat block is like you have that, and you just swap the races in and out. So like, anytime I need a Dark Knight sort of character, it's a hobgoblin.
God damn it! If I got to create the whole thing every session, they will fight a Dark Knight.
Every session. At the end, there's always every session is going to end with an honor duel between the paladin and whatever knight. Yeah. This one is an ogre.
This one is a red dragon. But so Sean did bring up a good point that the gates are kind of wide open with the 5th edition version of the paladin, and you can kind of tweak it. And oddly enough, you could be a paladin of devotion and be an evil orc because there is no restrictions.
Right.
They kind of allude to you should be this and that, and
he's devoted. He's devoted to a certain set of ideals. Yeah. It's just not the human set of ideals.
Yeah. Although isn't it like it is radiant damage, but you could always swap that out for necrotic if the deity was dark and fell.
Well, so you don't even have to make that change. Like if you're serving a dark deity that's still a divine entity, there's no problem having an evil thing doing radiant damage.
Yeah, because it's not
planes.
positive and negative like it was in 3rd edition.
Right.
Yeah.
I think. Also, I do want to point out like a couple things. One is in 2nd edition, Monstrous Humanoids Handbook. I believe there was a tribal defender as a kit. So that would probably be. I wish we had. I don't know if we have that around somewhere. That would be a good place to look for.
I
some
have it.
inspiration.
It's
somewhere
in the attic.
That might be a good
I
place.
think I might have even played a tribal defender at one point.
I'd love the humanoid handbook. That was my
Monstrous
favorite.
Humanoid Handbook, yeah.
I think it was just called the humanoid handbook. It was my favorite book for a long time.
And then later in 3rd edition, they basically created a paladin class for every alignment, I think. Like, especially the evil ones. There was, like, the Paladin of Tyranny. I know there was one for, like, lawful good, lawful evil and chaotic evil. I don't know if they did other ones, but I believe they did, like, a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, there was one for, there was the Crusader, which could, I think, be any alignment. So that was kind of cool. You could,
That was just a different class.
Well, I mean, but it was it was like the Paladin. Like, it was pretty
It
mirrored.
was kind of like the War Cleric.
Yeah, it kind of hit.
That's the problem with 3rd edition. They had so many classes. It was out of control.
Yeah.
Oh, it was only 400.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
And now with Pathfinder, it's probably up to 700. So
Well, it might be. I mean, but here's the thing, though. Like, any edition that's been out for more than a decade, you're gonna get there's gonna be a ton of bloat. It just happens. Like, your game either keeps expanding, or it's on to the next edition. So.
one or the other.
Yeah.
So I that pretty much covers it. Like, how we feel about the whole Dark Knight. It's a cool idea. Incorporating these champions into your game from the dark humanoids. And the other thing too.
Oh,
is,
you could do like some awesome like we could talk about some story ideas. Like, you could incorporate like the trial by combat sort of thing. Like, our champion versus your champion. Put them out there.
That's one way to go. The other thing is you want to give these guys a little credence in your campaign world and build up to them some foreshadowing.
Absolutely.
So whether it's stories coming in,
Like a ravening horde, like cutting a swath across the countryside, and you keep hearing this report of this like one bold champion
Right.
on their side, and so you get foreshadowing of that.
Especially if it's something that isn't natural to that type of creature. If it's a goblin that's leading a group that's ransacking villages or farms, even, that it's like, wait a second. This is bold and impetuous leadership by a goblin.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Or he could also still lead from the back, but he's really good at intimidating the other goblins and doing what he wants. He gives rousing speeches, but he's like the Skaven. He leads from the back. Yeah.
well, that would be really cool to have a champion like that who basically has this renowned unit. That basically turns the tide on any battle that they enter, and especially like goblins, where it's not anticipated, it's not you're not expecting it. Also, like goblins, it depends on your world and how you want to portray them. Because in Eberron, the goblins, there was definitely some goblin clans that were not like that at all.
Not
Like
as cowardly.
they were feared. They were like ninjas and the assassins. So. And also, like, if you get a group of goblins riding wargs, that's a pretty fearsome foe.
Absolutely.
The goblin by itself isn't a big deal, but that warg, is still a freaking warg.
And the plate armor and the heavy lance. And,
Yeah, it all adds up.
Yeah, it all compounds, and then you're dealing with the massacre of a minotaur. Then
Absolutely.
you have a dead minotaur
And it's even immortalized in a picture.
somewhere.
Oh, I know where that picture is.
That goes way back, and you guys have no idea what we're talking about. But that's okay. You'll probably hear this story again at some point. Me and Ted were talking about off camera before about in a large scale battle. What if this champion appears for the other side, and reports are coming in from a different area of the battlefield than where your players are,
And just like then they find out, oh shit, you guys have to go deal with this like now, like things are going bad.
Everywhere that this champion shows up,
It's a rout.
It's a rout. Yeah, it's utterly decimating the side. So it's like, what does this guy have? And like the idea of making this type of character, you want to have that foreshadowing. You want to have the players affected by what he's already done before they get to the encounter.
You want to have them be like a little scared, basically.
Yeah, you want them psyched out. You want them questioning, because it's going to make that encounter far more memorable. And anytime you have build up, it makes that encounter more memorable and more fun.
Kebabbed on his lance are like heads of various like the humans he's already killed. It's just like kebabbed, and like when by the time the PCs like get to him, there's like 6 human heads like dangling off of it.
What if the lance was like enchanted, right? So that the heads kind of are animated
And they could talk,
like no
or
real magic
scream.
ability.
They could
or
scream or
anything?
something.
Yeah.
Well, no, like you could have a fear effect like tied to it. Like if he's already slain someone, like then it has like generates a fear effect or something like that. Like that could be kind of cool. Or like it could be an item that has charges, but the way it recharges is by like skewering people or slaying people.
Yeah, so you could do some things, make your players think, keep them guessing.
All right, I have an idea now. That's going to be pretty cool. The Dread Lance. Yeah.
Dread Lance.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Do you use monstrous humanoid cavaliers and paladins in your game? Do you have any cool stories from your own games? Whatever you got to say, put it down below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can tweet at us over on Twitter.
Check us out over on Facebook.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.